Hey guys, it's Chris here, and thank you for checking out another one of my videos. As you can see, I am at my football stadium. There's a baseball game going on in the background, like somewhere over there, so if you hear some other background noise, that is why. But today I thought we could get a little personal, talk about something that's, I think, kind of unique to me, which is how I had such bad grades in high school, but I was still able to attend a pretty good college. Those of you that don't know about Mississippi College, most of you probably don't. I didn't know about it until I started getting recruited here, but it's a pretty well-established and well-known school in the Mid-South, or like the South just in general. It's a smaller school, but trust me, it's a really good school academically. So for those of you that don't really know my background that much, I ended up attending high school at Houston High School, and it was a high school in Memphis, Tennessee. And I really struggled in high school. I never had good grades. My core GPA was like a 2.4, so with like science, history, English, and math, all my grades equaled up to a 2.4 GPA, and I think I ended up with a 2.8 GPA once I graduated, just because my senior year was pretty relaxed and it wasn't that hard. I remember sitting down with my school counselor, and she was like, okay, so your core GPA is a 2.4, that means you're D1 eligible. And I'm like, oh man, I'm barely scraping by here. And it was really humbling, and just the fact that I was barely D1 eligible. I don't know if it was so much my effort. I definitely put a lot of effort into sports, but I really did stretch myself thin. There were times where I was trying to balance a lot, but still, I don't really think there's an excuse. I was a standard student all the way through, but glory to God, I was able to go to a pretty good school here in Mississippi, so I'm really grateful for that. And if it wasn't for football, I probably wouldn't even be going to school here. I wouldn't have even gotten into school here, if I'm being honest. And also, I got a 21 in the ACT, so it's not like I was really smart and I just didn't try. I guess standardized testing doesn't really show how smart you are, but at the time, I thought it meant everything, because that's all people talked about. So to break everything down, I had a 2.4 core GPA, but I graduated with a 2.8, and I was an all-standard student in school. I never took any honors classes, and I had a 21 on the ACT. And to sum everything up, I wouldn't have gone into Mississippi College if it wasn't for football. And if those of you that are curious about how I'm doing in school here now, I'm actually doing pretty well. At least, I would consider that I'm doing pretty well. It's not like I have a 4.0. Anyway, if you want to see how I'm doing in school, just, I'll have a link to another video, but I definitely try and do a lot more outside of my classes, whether it be football or working on other videos. So I'm okay with, not having amazing grades or being on the honors list, as long as I'm being effective with my time. So that's something to think about. Don't get discouraged if you don't get into a school that you want. Personally, I don't think it's that important. I don't think, college means that much, but I will say that because I went here, I was able to meet amazing people, and although you're paying a lot of money to go to school, if you capitalize on your relationships and your connections, it is well worth the money. So before you go to school, think about, how the school can use you, what you can bring to the school, how you're gonna build connections, how you're gonna make the most out of every opportunity. For me, that's expressing myself through, making these videos and just networking and trying my best in school, trying to build good habits. But yeah, you don't need an amazing GPA to get into a good school, as long as the school knows that you're gonna be a valuable asset to them and that you have something to contribute or to offer them. And I will be fair, most of the time that normally means money. It seems like from my experience, from what I've seen, schools will be willing to accept you if you're gonna pay full tuition. Sure, of course we're gonna take your money, even if you don't necessarily do that well or like have that good of grades. If you're gonna pay full tuition, then go right ahead. Now that's not every school, that's not Mississippi College, but I think I've kind of seen that happen, so that's just something to think about. But I hope some of the advice and kind of my story and background helped you guys out if you're in high school trying to decide what college you want to go to. Just think about what you can offer. I was a terrible high school student, and I ended up, not saying I've arrived anywhere, not saying I'm successful, but I've definitely been blessed. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I will see you guys next time. Peace out.